clarity is about making choices. It's about making the choice whether or not, in this case, I wanted to go to the beach. Well, I wanted to go to the beach, and oh my God, yeah, that's better light. I wanted to go to the beach, but I did go to the beach. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to go all the way down to actually see this part of the beach behind me. But well, you can see the sun has just set, and I was like, oh, let me see if I can sit here for a little while longer. So I would have loved to actually record it like this, but there's something wrong with this eye when I do so. So that doesn't seem the best of choices. So I'm going to ask, am I audible or is there a lot of wind? Because I'm using my DJI and I bought it especially to be able to do my videos literally on the fly, so that when there would be wind and there would be noise, so there's music behind me and there's of course the ocean in front of me, that I could check out, hey, what's the sound like? So can someone please let me know what the sound is like? In the meanwhile, I say cheers. So talking about clarity is also about conveying to the other one what you want and what you need. And of course the question is, do we get it across? So I actually talked about it not too long ago, and I said it's about speaking up, about being heard, and next also by being acknowledged. So today I said, okay, are there any disabled parking spots here available? And the answer was, I don't know. Okay, that could be true, but the thing was, the guy was parked in front of me, which was literally next to the disabled parking spots, because he did know where I eventually parked the car. He just didn't know it probably before I asked, and until he sat down in the car, and then he didn't let me know if there were any spots there. So he said, okay, let's meet up, and so that was on top. And the thing is, they are reconstructing everything, and no, it doesn't get much better, I'll honestly say. And so by the time I got upstairs, I was already like, oh yeah, I brought my equipment, you wanted the charger, so my backpack this time is actually quite full. So there's my backpack. And every time I carry a lot of stuff around that actually has consequences straight away for my leg, the tear in my leg, and especially the hip joint. And I noticed like, ooh, this is not going the way it should. So then we went for a bite to eat. I wanted pancakes. He didn't want pancakes. He wanted actually the Korean food. And we ended up at the Italian place, and I have to say it was amazing. And one of the things, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, there are all these hairs in my mouth. I don't like that. So in case you're wondering, yeah. So we ended up at the Italian. They had this awesome shark tank over there. We had to pay 10 euros extra in order to see the two sharks over there and a lot of crabs. And I have to say, it was an amazing view. And then we started working on my website, which was part 2 of the website. And I felt like, well, at some point I said to him literally, okay, you can keep telling me that there's a difference between the normal version and the pro version and how much the pro version costs, but I still don't know what the pro version does for me. And I've asked you like 3 times now, what does it do? Because I know what I need, but I can't get the information from you. And I was like, okay, how am I going to say this nicely without getting too agitated? So I actually said, "Dear Johnny." And I was like, oops, maybe I should have done that differently, but I literally said, I've asked you now 3 times, and you can say to me 20 times, you can repeat it to me 20 times, but that's not going to make any difference. Well, thank you for the compliment, Ba. So that was the thing, and it was a little awkward, and he had to go back in time, so we couldn't really finish, and I was a little agitated because I wanted to do something on Kajabi. And the thing is, I've got multiple email addresses, and I didn't know which one was the correct one, so it did not want to log me out. So I had to do everything on my phone instead of my iPad, and of course I brought the thing and I bought the thing, so it's a bigger screen. Well, I ended up actually doing something totally different. So some of you may have noticed that today on Instagram I posted a lot of stuff about Benjamin Levi Aguilar. Chick Joe and me, we saw him in Chicago, and back then I hadn't seen season 10, so I had no clue who he was, but of course he wanted a picture with me, and now I've seen a number of episodes. I love the guy and how he just portrays his character. And the thing is, over 500 years ago, 500 years, hear me talking, 500 days ago, I started learning Spanish, and I've always had something with the Spanish which you hear in America. So I was like, I want to learn it. So people who actually live in Spain, they say, oh, those words, they don't add up at all. It's not correct. But my goal was more the Latin America kind of Spanish. So I'm succeeding, and it's so cool because Benjamin has this habit of putting some stuff there underneath his posts in Spanish. So now I can read it, and most of it I can understand. So occasionally there's a word that I cannot understand. But that's pretty cool. So I was like, hey, it all seems to fit. I'm just going to do a post about him. Now, of course, that doesn't happen in one go. So I knew I could repost things from him and NBC One Chicago, post it to my story, and then I should be able to actually save the video. Well, after going back and forth, I actually did. I also looked through my videos, and there is one where Cheeky Joe and I were watching Lucci, Jason Begay, and Benjamin get together, and it's so cute because you see Jason reaching out for Benjamin, like, come here, I know you're the new addition, but you're part of this crew. And that's what I loved seeing about all the posts today, you know, new character, new person, but, you know, embraced. You are so welcome to be part of this family. And so, yeah, it just seemed to make sense, and it was like, I just want to put him into the spotlight, which is what I did earlier today. And so this evening, when I was trying to work on my website, didn't succeed. I was like, okay, I made some extra pictures of the sharks because I brought my my professional digital camera. And now it wasn't easy because I think they were trying to avoid me, those sharks. And I was just sitting at the end of the aquarium, which caused me to be in an angle. And since the windows were separated by wooden, what do you call it? There were beams in between, vertical bars in between. So that's what I've been working on. But in the meanwhile, I have been thinking, like, okay, so what do I want my website to look like? And it's kind of frustrating when you're talking about communication and someone doesn't seem to comprehend what you want. So I said, okay, look at this page. I love this page because he came up with, go look through this, that, and the other, and I was like, oh my God. And he went really quick, so my brain couldn't catch up with him. Just couldn't. He was going way too quickly because he was in a rush. He needed to get home in time. So I was like, okay, I see this coaching page. I like it, but I need to be able to do an upsell. So we were talking about, I don't know, something called Elements and Elements Pro, and WooCommerce. Both are interacting with WordPress. So that's all needed in order to get your website actually installed and up and running. So it's like programs for the whole website. It makes codes. So you can actually see my pictures and my videos on there. And I have to say, I love the fact that that's actually possible. So that's what I said. And then he said, yeah, but I don't know if that's in the version that he was trying to get me to pay. And I said, I don't mind paying for a version. I just don't want to do it every year again and again and again. And again, I was like, okay, what am I saying to him? Why doesn't he understand me? I mean, we're both Dutch. So either he didn't understand me, the volume was low, something was going on. And it was actually a shame because we can get along pretty well. But now that I've said, okay, be part of my team. And, you know, he's actually getting paid to get this done. It's a shame that somehow we weren't getting along this time around, because he doesn't understand what I want. I want him something to do for me. I know what it is, what I want, but for some reason I cannot get it across. So yeah, is communication easy? Well, I'd say this is pretty cut and dry, and still it isn't. So I know it wouldn't be for someone who doesn't know anything about websites, but if I say I don't want one page, but I want a separate page where you can link to, he knows what I'm talking about. So I got this question about communication and being understood, and I was like, yeah, communication is important. And no, it is not as if people can just understand you. I mean, the whole thing I just explained about getting here, asking about the disabled parking spots, next having to walk all the way up, which actually hurt my leg quite a lot. He had no clue. He knows I'm walking with crutches now, but he has no clue what's actually hurting. Then the discussion about where are we going to eat, and then next the whole thing when it came to the website. I mean, on how many levels can it be like, ooh, we don't understand one another quite well? Well, apparently a lot. And I would say that I know how to express myself. That's why I actually said, you can tell me like 20 times that the pro version needs to be paid for. That doesn't make a difference. I still don't know what the pro version does. So I do believe we would have eventually understood one another, and we'll see. In the meanwhile, I do my own changes. So I actually said so when we sat down. I said, "Oh yeah, I've been making some changes because his English is not like my English, and so he doesn't know when he's making spelling errors. I do." So I said, "Well, I changed it," and then he said, "Yeah, well, you need to do the content anyway." I said, "Yeah, that's totally true." And I, of course, have to choose. And it was just a little bit, of course, with the whole Kajabi not working either. So Kajabi is my way out for when, so I can do my own website and have it hosted somewhere. Or I can do it all through a platform called Kajabi. And they basically take away everything, and apparently I can link it to my website, but I still need to figure out how that works. So yeah, anyway, having said all of this, I remained sitting there for a while, edited a little bit the videos, and I actually got done what I wanted to get done, which was just a video dedicated to Benjamin, and put some music underneath, which I did. And then I thought, yeah, but the sun is setting, so let me show you once more. You can't really see it anymore. No, it's too dark. I still see a bit of red on the sky. It's still very pretty when I look at it. And I was like, yeah, I can go to the car right now. And then I was, no, I want to go down. And I was like, yeah, but what's that going to cost me when I go down? And I was like, yeah, downhill is going to cost me. So for a split second, I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then I remembered what I said. I am going for freedom. That's why I also have my crutches with me. Yep, there they are. And I was like, no, I'm just going to do it, and we'll see how it works out. And now I'm here. I'm sitting here. I'm so happy to actually be on the beach. If anyone can tell me if the sound is good, I would really appreciate that. And I was like, I'm just going to test how this works, the whole DJ thing. I used it in Chicago, actually. But here on the beach, of course, there's a much more noise from the music in the tent, but also from the ocean itself and the wind, of course. Thank you. Oh, I'm so happy that you say that the sound is clear. That's amazing. Well, the cool thing is there's actually another microphone in there. And when we were in Chicago, Joe used the other one. And so she didn't have to be on video, on camera, but everyone could still hear her. So thank you for saying so. Having combined all of this, it's going full circle. So I talked not too long ago about 10x. Oh, hang on for a sec. There you go.
So much.
Thank you. That's a very sweet young lady. She helped me last round. So, and when talking about the next, the whole idea was to spend 80% of your time on the 20% that matters. And I was like, okay, how do I do that? So when I got up this morning, I was like, oh yeah, I need to remind myself that I do need to change the end cards on the YouTube videos, because my YouTube lives now refer to someone or something else when the video is over and done with, and it would be nice if they would refer to the next one. So day 1 would refer to day 2, and then day 2 would refer to day 3, and day 3 to back day 1 again. So that was one of the things. And I also still wanted to do an extra live. So here I am, working on what matters, and that feels good. So I'm not entirely sure how the whole thing with Benjamin fits into all of this, but yeah, my heart is in Chicago. Not just in Chicago, I always said my heart is in Florida, so I always almost feel like, what am I saying? But yeah, it's one amazing city with amazing people, so sweet. And you know, just looking at those videos today, you know, you could see the people smiling and embracing one another. It just was a very sweet thing to do. And I was like, yeah, I love working on those themes. And today the theme was Benjamin, also known as Dante Torres. And it did feel good to know that spending so much time on studying Spanish, like every day, that it actually is now starting to pay off. So that's actually a very good thing. So I probably will be going live later tonight again on StreamYard. I don't think I'm going to be that late. I haven't heard anything from Cheeky Joe, so I don't know if she will be joining me. But if you do have specific questions, which I haven't answered in this video just yet, about being understood and understanding other people, I'll gladly go into that whole topic, because communication is one of the hardest things to basically to receive and to answer, so to receive and send. And yes, there are so many things. It could be the way that our minds work, so how do we think? it could be the language barrier, it could be certain knowledge about certain things. And the whole thing, well, where things actually go wrong has to do with assumptions. So many people make assumptions about what the other one is thinking and what the other one is understanding. And so not too long ago, when I was having a conversation with someone who's actually paying for my services, which I render to a client, he has autism, he's got Asperger's. She said, "Oh, I'm so in awe with how you constantly go back and forth. Is that correct what I'm saying yet? You agree, or do I need to change this?" But you know, that's the whole thing when it comes to coaching. When it comes to coaching, I cannot assume that what I think to be true and what I think to be right is actually true and right. So I always need to check. Well, I'll honestly say that when it comes to daily life, it's a little bit different. But you know, in the coaching session, it's always a good thing to think about it. Again, if you have some specific questions, let me know before you go to sleep, and especially let me know if I haven't answered it, because I know what a difficult topic this is. So we're talking about clarity in communication, basically. And with clarity also comes the sound. So that's why I needed to know, is the sound actually getting across? Because I can talk all I want, but if the sound is not audible, then what am I doing it for? I just don't want to be, well, let's be arrogant, another pretty face on the screen. Maybe others think you're not a pretty face on the screen, but judging by what Bas said before, I think I'm doing pretty well. And of course, the filter from Catfully is amazing. Having said so, it's about going back and forth, figuring out what people actually understand and hear. And the hard thing is, how do we remain friends in the process? So doing so, talking to strangers and trying to figure out if they understand you is on one hand easier because you probably won't see them again. On the other hand, because you don't see them more often, it can be more uncomfortable to talk to them about certain things. Anyway, just try it, see what happens when you try to convey to the other one what it is you want to get across. And it doesn't matter if it comes out a little, I'm not going to say like gibberish, but what might be in your head like gibberish, but actually might be completely clear for the other one. But just because you're like, I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, I'd better not say it. No, just do it. Get out there, try it, get it out. And that's the only way to know if the other understands you. I mean, English is not my first language, Dutch is. And I notice a lot of times when I'm listening back to the lives and also to the group coaching that I'm somewhat struggling with certain words. I, of course, know when I'm struggling, when I'm going live, when I'm really searching for certain words. But it's like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway, because that's the only way to learn it, you know, and the only way to get any confirmation if something gets across. And since I want to inspire people and leave that legacy, it's, yeah, okay, so it's not perfect. Is that a problem? Depends on who you are asking. I tend to believe that people actually appreciate it when I try to speak their language. And for those who are international and who none of them have the first language who have English as their first language, I guess, you know, we can be so proud of one another that we are actually talking to one another in a language that's not ours, but we're still doing it. And yeah, that's one of the things that I love about this age, that we can actually talk to one another like right now, and we can see and watch one another. I mean, how amazing is that? Having said so, hopefully I'll see you again on the YouTube live and on Facebook. If not, sweet dreams and watch it tomorrow. And if you plan on watching it, please remember you still have some time to get out there what you want to get across. So please do, so I can get into it and you can get the most out of it and I can make the most out of it. So that's it for now. You want to see more from the Clarity Challenge? Then go click over there and you will be taken there.